Welcome to Real Estate Agent Superstars. I'm your host, RJ Baxter with Intercap Lending, and we have a very, very awesome guest with us today. We have Renee Boston from 8Z Realty. And Renee is a pretty new agent. She's going on her third year in the business, not going on, she's almost done with her third year in the business. And she was a former kindergarten teacher turned realtor, and she's had a lot of success in the business. She was actually Rookie of the Year with the Mile High Leaders group, and just has really taken her business to a really successful level in a short period of time. So she is joining us today to share how she has used her teaching and education approach to securing clients and building her business. So welcome to the show, Renee. Really happy to have you here.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit more about yourself. So you're a former kindergarten teacher. How long did you do that for?
I did that for 5 years.
Okay.
So second marriage, so then got to do something a little bit different. So went and got my master's in education, quick program to, do that. And I really just wanted summers off. I thought that would be the greatest thing in the world, leave corporate America and have summers off. And it was great until COVID hit. And then I was not interested anymore. So I don't know. Maybe that's bad. I have no idea. But so we were moving to the Denver area, originally from Alabama. After kids got out of high school, we moved to the mountains and we lived up there for 2 years. And then my husband got an opportunity to move to Denver. So we did. The lady who helped us with our house was like, I'm really, really busy. Why don't you get your real estate license and help me? I used to be a teacher. And I was like, well, I don't really want to teach. So not with, 5-year-olds and masks and plexiglass and all that, just no interest. So I got my real estate license and boom, here we go.
That's awesome. I thought I detected a little bit of an accent there. It didn't sound like New York or something.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So how long have you been in Colorado overall then?
5 years in Colorado. 5, 2 in the mountains and 3 in Denver.
Okay. Where in the mountains did you live?
We lived in the Woodland Park area, actually a little further up in Divide.
Okay. Nice area.
It's beautiful. It's remote. The hiking is fabulous. The air is wonderful. You don't have to have air conditioner, and I love it. I mean, you could just be outside all the time. But as far as having a lot to do besides that, yeah, not a lot.
Yeah, right. We lived in Evergreen for years, and there's quite a bit to do up there. But it's after a while, it's you kind of we're in the city now, and we've enjoyed that.
Us too, yeah. And we probably should have done it opposite. We probably should have moved to the mountains as our last stop instead of our first stop to Colorado. But we love being in the city. It's awesome.
Yeah. So you started off assisting another agent. Are you still with this other agent?
No, she is actually selling in another state now. So I am on my own. I learned so much from her just from riding in the car, listening to all of her conversations, and then shortly after we split, and we only split because she moved, and yeah, everything's good.
Okay, awesome. What are the 2 most valuable things that you learned from her?
Communication is super important with clients, and it's something I already knew, but I just watched her do it, is building that relationship. I mean, when you're with clients, you're not going to sell them a house. I mean, you don't live in their shoes or their wallet. You can listen and try to figure out what it is that they want and what they need. You can ask them questions and make sure that you have that list in your head. So when they see a shiny object, you get them back to where they need to be within their budget. It's really just building the relationship and making the process simple for clients.
Yeah, and you've taken what you your skills as a teacher, and you've brought that into the real estate business. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, my favorite client of all time is a first-time home buyer. So I love getting people who think they can't buy a home into a home. It's just so super exciting. When I was in my 20s, that's the first thing I did after I had a real job. So we bought a house. I think, it's the American dream. It's awesome. It's super fun. I don't care what age you are. We have a lot of people in Colorado from other countries, first-time home buyers. So I take all of that and just educate them on the process. That is my job as an agent. It's to find them the house, but everyone looks for their own houses now. That's not the most important job. I think it still is crucial if you want to set yourself apart as an agent. To I'm not going to get on my island, but not drip houses to them. Like, listen to them, see what they want, be proactive on finding them things. But really, it's educating them on the process. I tell people, this is kind of a little kindergarten analogy, but it works for adults too. My first question is, how do you put a puzzle together? And I don't know, RJ, how do you put a puzzle together?
One piece at a time.
Oh, come on, I need more than that.
I don't know.
One piece at a time. Okay, well, not RJ, but most people say
With the border
most
on
people.
first.
Yes, absolutely. You put the border on first, right? So
Yeah.
the border is actually, RJ's, that's your world. Okay. That is your lending. And then all the other things that, a lot of people say they put pieces in piles by color or by shape. And those are all your wants and your needs. And we can't put any puzzle piece outside of that border. So it's very important to educate people on the pre-qualification first, and not only what you're pre-qualified for, but what do you want your monthly budget to be? And I always say, I get frustrated when you go buy a car and they're like, well, what do you want your payment to be? Well, on a car, I want to know how much the car cost. I mean, that's what I want to know. What's my bottom line? I don't really care about what my monthly payment is. I want to know how much I'm paying for that car, because that's kind of a short term. Certainly not an investment either. So when I'm working with my buyers, we'll just kind of talk about buyers specifically. I just want to know where they're comfortable per month. And then I would get with someone like you, get with RJ, and we come up with a plan. You can afford a house, you can qualify for the moon. Usually you qualify for way more than you would want to spend, but where we are monthly. So we're going to look at taxes. We're going to look at homeowners insurance. We're going to look at HOA. We're going to put the whole border together, with all of those, because that is how we can loop in all the other piles. I want a backyard. I want, to have acreage. I want, an open floor plan. I can't even think about any of that until I have my border built, or otherwise we're all wasting time. Another thing that I tell my buyers specifically, because lending and that piece can just be like so daunting. I have one lender, and she says we have to undress people financially. It makes them very uncomfortable. We talk about that. I mean, I lay it all out. I set the expectation out of the whole process so that they kind of know what they're getting into. And I think that is just, it's how I start. And then when we meet one-on-one, we're in the house and I can really have their attention, I go through the entire 30 days. Once we get under contract, you're going to turn in your earnest money. You're going to get an inspection. And I talk about the documents that are coming. I'm just so super specific, so that when we do find the perfect house, they're financially ready. It is exactly what they want. I've kind of kept them on track and take them back to, you really told me you had to have a 3-car garage. We're not going to back off of that. You said that was very important. I'll just keep, on with that. And then by the time we get under contract, they already know what to expect. And to me, that is how you make a transaction smooth.
So do you have a specific process? Do you, for example, if you go over the entire 30 days at one meeting, that's a lot of information. Do you have a process where you then revisit the certain parts?
Absolutely. Oh, goodness. Absolutely. And I'll tell my buyers, you are about to drink from a fire hydrant, while I'm going through all this. But of course, but they've got to know, RJ, they've got to know what it is they're getting themselves into. They've got to know that 3 days after we go under contract, or 2, you need that earnest money. That earnest money is going to go hard. It's not like, because you'll talk to them. If you're not careful about educating them, you can say, your earnest money is your down payment on your down payment. It's going to be put in an escrow account. What some people hear is, oh, it's going to be put in an escrow account over here. I'm just going to write the check and they're going to hold it. So I'm very specific. And I'm like, that money is going to be pulled out of your account the very day it goes to title. And that is something like, if you don't tell people that and just assume that they know that, you can make a big mistake. And then they are mortified and embarrassed and, ashamed. And, but it's really shame on the agent if they didn't tell them. So I do lay it all out, and I do know it's drinking from a fire hose. But don't worry, because the whole time, we're going to just continue to talk about the same things until they feel comfortable with it.
Yeah, yeah. Have some of your processes and the things that you educate people on, has that come through trial and error, or making some mistakes on your part, and you think, well, that's probably something I need to put into my checklist or the things I do.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And then I'm going to get to take another teacher thing. Okay. So, when you're teaching kiddos, you tell them the only way you learn is to make a mistake. That's the only way you're
Mhm.
going to learn, because otherwise you know everything, correct? If
Yeah.
you never make a mistake, you know everything. And that's just not reality. Okay. It's just not reality.
Yeah.
I was actually on the phone with a teammate of mine, and there was something that got it wasn't clicked in the contract that she was the seller's agent on. She's new. Everyone missed it. The person who went over her contract missed it. So they're up against closing tomorrow, and there's like $175 out there that somebody's got to pay. And it was water transfer fee, sending that water section. So
Mm.
she's mortified, and she's like, I'm so embarrassed. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what, teammate? You will never, ever, ever make that mistake again. You will always go to that water transfer, and you will always make sure it has a check on there.
Right. Probably the
So
first thing that she'll check.
it's the first thing you'll check. It's the very
Yeah.
first thing you'll check. So I think being in any career, and especially when you're working with the public, you have to have some vulnerability. You have to have transparency. If you make a mistake, you make a mistake. Own it, fix it,
Mhm.
move on, and you won't ever make it again.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great point. So,
Mm-hmm.
what are some of the most valuable things you've learned after you went off on your own, apart from the agent that you were under?
Oh, well, if you don't know the answer to something, I have a huge team behind me that does. So I used to play off of her a lot, um, and ask her a ton of questions. And now that I don't have that one on one, I just have the best team ever. Not only do I have my Parker Castle real estate team, and we're just like a little sisterhood, literally with one man, poor fella, but it's just a bunch of girls, and we just take care of each other. We ask each other questions. We fill in for each other if we need to. And then furthermore, I have 8Z, we call it the 8Z Nation behind me. And
Mhm.
you can literally get online and email a question. So, buyer needs blah, 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 or what happens if blah, blah, blah. And then boom, boom, boom. It's like
Mm.
magic how many people show up for you. So I will plug my company 1,000 times, because I've never worked anywhere where we all cheer for each other. And this is a business where you would think it would be competitive, and it's just not. There's enough business for everybody. And that's how we feel there. And it's just a great place. I don't worry about not knowing everything, because I've got so many people behind me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. That sounds like a valuable resource. Um,
Absolutely.
so what have you done to build your business so fast? Where did your clients come from?
Okay, well, when I started, I bought Zillow leads, and that was very successful. But that was
Okay.
also when it was like, how fast can you pick up the phone? How fast can you get to the house? And how fast can you write your offer? I mean,
Mhm.
that's where I started.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what I learned,
Not to interrupt, but when in 2020 did you start? Was it before or after COVID?
it was
Like when it,
October after COVID. COVID started in March, and I started real estate in October.
okay.
Okay, so what year was that? 21?
Just to get a perspective of what you
Yeah,
were
yeah,
dealing with.
21.
So,
It's when it was insanity. So
yeah.
at that point, I really feel like I learned how to build a relationship with a listing agent, because you didn't
Mhm.
really have a ton of time to build relationships with the clients at that point. When they were Zillow leads, they call, they want to see a house, they want to write an offer, boom, boom, boom. So what I learned during that time was just how to negotiate with the listing agent. And
Mhm.
I don't even want to use the word negotiate. Part of it is, of course, we're agents, we're in sales. It's a lot of negotiation, but it's also about building the relationship with the listing agent. I feel that is when I sell. That's when I use my sales skills,
Mhm.
to build rapport, you know, have them gain trust in me that we're definitely going to get to the closing table. So that's, where I learned that skill set. And then fast forward, everything has changed. I still get Zillow leads.
Mhm.
I'm on a Zillow Flex team now, so a little bit different. But you know, it's still the sell um, skill comes when you're trying to get under contract. Again, you're
Mhm.
educating the buyer, and you are selling your buyer to that listing agent.
Yeah, those are great points. I mean, that's so key to that process of establishing that relationship is so key for
Mhm.
sure.
Oh, with the listing agent? Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
that is, it's so crucial. And,
Hmm.
I've had times as the listing agent where the agent on the other side didn't really try to do that. And I find it shocking. It makes me very sad
Hmm.
for their buyer, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I did have a situation just last week and I was like, oh my gosh, if I had another offer, I probably wouldn't take that one, just
Hmm.
because like I smell trouble a mile away. And if you've got to let the listing agent know, like, you're the one for the go, you're the one for the show, you're the one for closing.
Yeah.
We're going to get it there. It's just so important.
Yeah. Yeah. So how have you, as you built your business, how have you kept track of your prospects and your clients and what's going on with them and remembering when to follow up? Do you use a database program
I
or?
do. I use Boomtown as my
Okay.
database.
Okay.
If I were super honest, I don't use it as much as I really know I need to. My company does a lot of stuff to help us out on that, but I have a spreadsheet. It's the Ninja spreadsheet. So I've got, three different categories of my active
Hmm.
people. And, I'm on that 24/7. I know my people and where we are. I let Boomtown take care of people who aren't like really ready to buy a house, just they see my face often. But my people who are ready, like today or within the next year, they are in a spreadsheet that I look at every day and I date it and I just keep up with it like that.
I love it. Just old school, just going at
Uh,
it.
Very old school.
Yeah.
Very
Well,
old school.
if it was very
It's
old school,
okay.
it'd be a piece of paper if it was really old school. But
Well, hey, oh wait, I don't have it with me, but I have about 50 little notebooks, and oh my goodness, I go to town in those. So I'm either doodling in meetings because, believe it or
uh,
not, that helps you focus, or I've got my day, and I live and breathe and die by the calendar on my phone.
hmm. Hmm. Are you a time blocker?
No, I don't do any of the things you're supposed to, RJ.
Oh, okay. Well, when you said you're a calendar person, I thought, maybe.
I wish, well, I just do calendar. Like I check it every night to see like what my day is for the next day and, just check off things throughout the day. Um, I've really been successful and I'm like super happy and proud of where I am.
Hmm.
But I still have areas I could improve. I mean, 100,000%.
What kind of areas could you improve in?
Well, things like time blocking. So,
Hmm.
and really and truly, I can tell you that biggest area I could improve. I'm either super stressed because I have a ton of business, or I'm
Hmm.
super stressed because I have no business. And I
Mm.
think every agent has been there. I mean, I feel confident that every agent has been there. So learning how to, you're going to be stressed when you have a lot of business, period. That's, and that's okay. It's part of the job. We make a lot of money. In my
Hmm.
opinion, the more stress, the more money. I've always seen it in careers,
Hmm.
like it happens like that. But when I'm down, things like time blocking would be awesome, and just making specific plans, to work my business. Because sometimes you can just get so stressed and kind of down a little bit because your
Uh-huh.
business is not, you're so used to being so busy, and then all of a sudden you're not, and you're just like, it paralyzes me. I mean, I'm going to be super
Hmm.
honest with you. It can really just get me stuck to where I'm like, I'm doing nothing. So just
Yeah.
being a lot more intentional during my downtime instead of, I'm still new in the business. So,
Hmm.
I'm learning how that flow goes. I'm definitely learning that, but I just need to get better about being more intentional with my time when I'm not
Hmm.
busy, if that
Hmm.
makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So, being still new in the business, what kind of projects are you working on to continue to improve?
I do a lot of groups. Like I take whatever skill I have and I just turn it into like a women's group. Just I want to meet people. I do flowers. Like I love to like do flower design. So I've done this many times and just met ladies. Because remember, I'm not from here. I've met a lot of people since I've been here 3 years. Like I don't even claim that anymore. I've plenty of opportunities to meet people, but I did start not knowing anyone. The only person I knew in Denver was my agent. That was it. So I will hold little flower classes where I teach ladies how to put arrangements together.
Oh,
And
okay.
I mean, I can have like 30 plus people in a room, and I will say things like, I can help you make your house beautiful, but I can also help you get a house too. So, kind of just playing on some of that. I
Nice.
do
Shameless
not,
plug.
I'm not a, could try. I'm not a silent agent ever. And I think that is something that,
Mm.
if an agent says, I don't have any business, well, how many people know you're an agent? Are you talking about it all the time? Do you let everybody know you're an agent? And you don't have to do it like in a, you know, Avon kind of way. Here's my catalog, buy my product. Just talk about the market because it's my career. I am super
Totally.
interested in it. And guess what? The majority of people out there are interested in it too.
Yep. I've personally done that in my business where I'm a snowboarder, and
Mm-hmm.
on the ski lifts, a lot of times conversations go kind of the direction of housing or buying a house or moving. And
Exactly.
I'll
Yep.
just tactfully mention, oh yeah, well, I'm actually a mortgage broker. And,
Mm-hmm.
I noticed this and this and this about the market. And,
Uh-huh.
before you know it, I have business cards in my ski pants pocket. So
They're everywhere. Business
yeah,
cards everywhere.
I've actually closed a couple transactions meeting people on the ski lift that way.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'll tell you my favorite, how to meet my favorite, I just closed a list buy. And I met the girl in Target about a year and a half ago. And, I'm in Target, of course, not dressed, just came from the gym and I got a Zillow call. So I was like, oh, Zillow call. I'm going to answer that. I don't care if I'm in Target. I don't care where I am, really bathroom. It doesn't matter. Just answer it, put it on mute. But anyway, long story short, I answered the Zillow call. I set up the appointment and I'm like, I'll see you in 30 minutes. And so someone, between the clothes rack heard me. And she came over to me. She said, are you a realtor? And I said, yeah. And she went, you're going to leave Target and go show a house like right now, like without like planning it or anything? I said, yes, that's my job. And I said, I let her know I'm not looking beautiful, but guess what? You're looking at the house, not me anyway. So,
mhm.
I did not get that Zillow sale. Yeah, 10% is the goal. So you win some, you lose some.
Right, right.
But what I did get was that other lady that was in Target, and we sold her house. She had such beautiful style. We got $38,000 over list price like 3 weeks ago, and they closed on their million plus dollar dream home on a golf course last week. So don't be a
Nice.
silent agent. If
Yeah.
you are answering a call somewhere and somebody hears it, so what? You're not giving out personal information or social security numbers. Just, be you. And you never
Mhm.
know who's listening.
Well, I can tell that's one of the big reasons why you're successful. You're just you're authentic. And I think a lot of people appreciate that.
I don't know. I wouldn't be able to choose who else to be.
Right,
It's
right.
a lot of people.
Well,
That's too many choices. I can only be me.
I think there's a lot of people in our businesses that try to be someone else. They try to or they try to
100%
sell
agree.
people. And
Yeah. Well, we're inundated with that. There's real estate shows on TV, selling
mhm.
sunset. For the life of me, if they lived my life on a Saturday, they could not wear those shoes. There's just no way. No way. So, I mean, I'm, feet on the ground, like I work and
Yeah,
we walk around land, we walk through new builds. I mean, we get and do the work, and that's what's like super important.
yeah, totally. So fast forward a year from now, if you were to
Hmm.
look back at the year that passed, how would you define a successful year?
Ooh, great question. Um, Not only am I successful when I close deals, but I really love helping my teammates. And I know for most people, that's probably like, oh, yeah, sure, but actually, I really do. We have some new people on our team, and, I'm a mother and grandmother, all that. So I just have that mothering teaching, like it just is who I am. And so not only if my year is successful, and it already is, it's super strong. I might even meet my stretch goal, which I'm really very excited about.
Great.
But if the couple of girls that I've been working with, if they have successful years and they already are, like that will make my heart so happy. That will really make my heart happy.
That's really cool. What do you like to do for fun? Do you ever have time to do stuff that's not real estate related these days?
Well, of course. I mean, realtors have plenty of time. So we really do. Tuesdays are kind of boring. Wednesdays can be kind of boring.
Hmm.
Tuesday's not today because we're hanging out, of course. This is a great Tuesday. But I love to garden. I love to cook Cajun food. I have two doodles. We do lots and lots and lots of walking, paddle boarding, hiking. I mean, we moved here and just embraced the Colorado lifestyle. So if it's outside, I'm doing it. We built this was my treat on my first year. We built a fabulous covered deck with some swinging beds. So if I'm not working or doing something active, I will be out there. That is my office. That's where I work. It's where I relax. Um, I'm married. My husband is my very best friend. I know, corny it up, but if your spouse is not your best friend, I'm sad for you. But we do so much together. We travel. We do our daily walks. I just have a great life. I'm not going to complain, but it's not perfect. So we don't even
Yeah,
have to
love
go
it.
there. Nobody's life is perfect. And that is something, you even look at these agents. I'm going to sidetrack just a minute when you talk about success.
Hmm.
It is so hard when you work for a company like 8Z because, the requirement is 10 transactions a year.
Hmm.
So everyone's working. Um, but there's some people who sell a lot of real estate. Okay.
Hmm.
I will be like, oh, I just had a great month. I closed how many ever, however it goes. But then you look on the top producers and someone sold like three times more than you. Um, you just have to just level out, you do you. And
Hmm.
that is something you probably have the same thing. We're in sales. If you're not driven, you're not ever going to be successful. But it's very important to just taper that to your own goals and not
Hmm.
try to reach the goals of others because we're all in different shoes. We've all been in the business different amounts of time. We sell at different price ranges. So just leveling that out in my head is very important.
Nice. I love it. So what would be your number one tip for someone that's starting in the business right now?
I just met with someone for coffee today that just started. Um, this is, you've got to tell everybody you're an agent. You really do. You can't be in the mindset of like, oh, I don't want her to think I'm selling. You're not selling. There's no house out there right now. If you tell someone you're an agent and you put your personality into it, it doesn't, you're not selling anybody. You're just letting people know what you do and you are passionate about it. So, throw a little fact out, something that you love. Um, get out there, say it, do it. And you don't have to do anything
Hmm.
special. Get in the groups that you're in. Like you love snowboarding, you're passing your card out on the ski lift. I mean, no better place than that. There's nothing more
Hmm.
authentic. And it is just being you. Have a couple little things in your pocket. Kind of goes back to kindergarten. You've got to have all these little tricks in your pocket for classroom management, for, getting kids to do what they need to do at the right time. And you've got like verbiage and songs or whatever it is that you use. I love songs, but anyway, I can't use that in real estate. But if you
Yeah,
have
do you have a
any,
song like when you go to a showing?
yeah, let's not. I probably do in my head, but
Right, right.
no, I'm teasing. So, um, just do it. Just be passionate. Tell people what you do. It's not selling when you tell people you're a real estate agent. So have the mindset that I'm just letting you know what I do. I'm good at my job. I can educate you and get you into something that you probably didn't even know you could do. Um, and just be excited about it, not embarrassed or I don't want you to know or I'm too worried you might think. I don't care what people think. If I am out there, I did some door knocking the other day, which I've never done before, but we have a social equity program going, and I thought everyone needed to know about that. So I did some door knocking in an apartment building that was a location, in the social equity section.
Hmm.
And again, never done that. I was a little bit shy about it, believe it or not. I just kind of felt a little bit weird. But I had
Yeah.
something to offer. I had $25,000 for you, like just hand to you for a down payment grant, right? I could just hand you money because of your address. But anyway, there were some people there and I was trying to talk to them. They were like, no, no, I don't want to talk to you. They really were
Yeah.
doing that. Like I was like, had drugs or something. But anyway, if I let that bother me, I would have just left. But instead, I kept knocking, and I actually got someone under contract yesterday from that door knocking.
Oh,
How
wow.
cool is that?
That's
Someone
really
who
cool.
thought they were going to rent for the rest of their life. She was in a one bedroom there. She's got a little one bedroom, but now she's going to build equity. And that
That's
is so
so cool.
exciting. And you know what? That I will tell you is my biggest win for the year. My smallest dollar point, my biggest win.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is so
Very
cool.
much so.
That's a great
Yeah,
story.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you for sharing all this. I mean, you're just your authenticity and your aura is so awesome, and it's easy to see why you're so successful. And just
Oh,
really
thank
appreciate you
you.
sharing all these tips for other agents.
Well, I appreciate you inviting me on. So I really do. I was excited. Did you mention that you were a teacher too? Is that correct?
I was,
Or
yeah,
no? You
yeah,
were.
yep, long time
It's
ago.
a it's amazing how many teachers are in this business. And if you can just take, and one of the girls that I'm, on my team that we've been working tightly together, she was a teacher also. And I just say, if you can take everything from that little world or whatever
Hmm.
world you're in, it's all about relating to people. It's not about
Totally.
selling anything. It's all about building relationships. And even if it's not now, not now, but something better probably later. So it's just knowing that it's a long game and it's all
Hmm.
about relationships. And I mean, that's it. There's no trick really. There's no trick at all. It's
Yeah,
that simple.
there's no shiny object or yeah,
No.
trick to do.
Mm-mm. No,
Yeah,
not
100%.
at all. Hmm.
Well, awesome. Well, thanks again. I really appreciate you being on, Renee. And if you're listening to this show and found value, please share it with your friends that are in the business. That's how the word gets out. And consider leaving us a 5-star review. Once again, my name is RJ Baxter with Intercap Lending, and you have a great rest of your day.
Thanks.